Welcome you all in our live class in BHE course, and subject code is BHIC 133. I am Dr. Nilam Pandey, Assistant Professor in PR Ambedkar College, Delhi University. Students, today we are going to discuss uh, History of India 1206 to 1707. Students, we start a new topic, army organization and Mansab system. Second and unit 8. So let's start with its introduction. Dear students, as you know that the army is very essential elements of the state. Kautilya also mentioned that the army is a very important elements of the state. So the Barni claims in his Fatwaye Jahadari that kingship is the army and the army is the kingship. Barni also claims in his Fatwaye Jahadari that kingship is the army and the army is the kingship. Clearly suggests that army was the pillar of the empire. No sultan could ignore the slackness in the army. Army is the pillar of empire and no sultan could ignore the slackness in the army. Sultanate was also under constant wars to consolidate their position in India, for which maintenance of efficient army was a must. Sultanate consolidate their position in India in the support of his strong army. Mughal army was a further advancement over the Sultanate army. Mughal army was a further advancement over the Sultanate army, perhaps more organized and well equipped. Mughal army was well established over the Sultanate army. Now we see the army organization of the Delhi Sultan. Army organization under the Delhi Sultan. Like the Mongol army organization, Delhi Sultanate also organized their army on the similar basis. Like the Mongol army organization, Delhi Sultans also organized their army on the similar basis, on the basis of Mongols. So, Sultans organized their army on the basis of Mongols' army. The Mongol army was based about the army organization of the Sultan Iltutmish. Nothing much is known. Balban realized the importance of army. In Sultanate dynasty, Balban was the first ruler who realized the importance of the strength of army and accordingly increased the strength of the Kalbi-e-Ala. Iltutmish increased the strength of army. The Kalbi-e-Ala, basically known as the centrally recruited army. To ensure the quality, he introduced Dago Chehra. Iltutmish also introduced the system of Dago Chehra. Dago Chehra What is Dag-o-Chehra? Dag-o-Chehra? Dag-o-Chehra is basically known as the reason of Dag-o-Chehra, the cause of Dag-o-Chehra, no horse or horseman produced twists. The military department under the Delhi Sultans was known as variously as Diwane-Urj, Rawate-Urj, and Urj-e-Malik. Military department under the Delhi Sultans was known as Diwane-Urj, Rawate-Urj, and Urj-e-Mamlik. In the initial years of the Sultanate, Wazir used to combine both civil and military powers. In the initial years of the Sultanate, Wazir used to combine power, both civil and military powers. Wazir was a very powerful because he used to combine power, civil and military. So Balban realized that it was danger and separated the military powers of the Wazir. So Balban was the first who realized its danger and he separated the military power of the Wazir. During his reign, the military department was headed by Imad-ul-Mulk. During his reign, during the reign of Iltutmish, the military department was headed by Imad-ul-Mulk. Alauddin further strengthened and recognized the military department. Alauddin further strengthened and recognized the military department. Under Firoz Tughlaq, the department was headed by his slave Wazir Imad-ul-Mulk. Under Firoz Tughlaq, the department was headed by his slave Wazir Imad-ul-Mulk. Elephants also important component of the Delhi Sultan's capital. Elephants also form important component of the Delhi Sultan's army. Muhammad bin Tughlaq is reported to have 3,000 elephants. Muhammad bin Tughlaq is reported to have 3,000 elephants. Firoz Shah Tughlaq, Muhammad bin Tughlaq have 3,000 strength of elephant. Firoz contingent during his second Bengal campaign passed 470 elephants. Firoz contingent during his second Bengal campaign passed their 470 elephant. 470 elephant. When Balban entrusted Bengal to Bughra Khan, he advised him to send supply of elephants from Bengal. Balban advised Bughra Khan to supply him elephants from Bengal. Now we see the army organization under the Mughals. The army organization can be studied in two district heads. In Mughal Empire, in Mughal period, the army organization can be studied in two district heads. One and the most crucial One was the Mansab system. One and the most crucial was the Mansab system, through which the Mughal bureaucracy and more so Mughal cavalry recruited, and the other aspect was the constituent branches of the Mughal army and how were the marches and the pitched battles were organized. And the other aspect was the constituent branches of the Mughal army. One important head is Mansabdari system and other is constituent of Mughal army. Mughal administration is totally based on the Mansabdari system and Mughal army constituent, and how were the marches and the pitched battles were organized. On the basis of Mughal army, the marches and the pitched battles were organized. Now we see the constituent branches of the Mughal army, because this is the most important to establishment, the main part of the establishment of the Mughal empire. So we see the constituent branches of the Mughal army. The infantry, elephantry, artillery, and navy formed the main strength of the Mughal army. Infantry, cavalry, elephantry, artillery, and navy formed the main strength of the Mughal army. Mughals' army was heterogeneous in nature, largely consisted of Persians, Turks, Afghans, and Rajputs. Mughals' army was heterogeneous in nature, largely consisted of Persians, Turks, Afghans, and Rajputs. Now we see the infantry troop of the Mughal Empire. In the Mughal army organization, the position of the Mughals infantry in terms of hierarchy was the lowest. In the Mughal bureaucracy, infantry was the lowest in bureaucracy term. So, in the Mughal army organization, the position of infantry in terms of bureaucracy was the lowest. The infantry was known as Piyadgan Ehsam. Infantry was known as Piyadgan or Ehsam. Piyadgan or Ehsam constituted in a number of groups and performed varied nature of services. Piyadgan performed varied nature of services. Now we see the elephantry troop of Mughal Empire. Elephants were important on 3 counts. Elephants were important on 3 counts. It was sign of grandeur, and often in a pitched battles, the emperor used to sit on the elephants so that he could be visible. First important is it was sign of grandeur, and often in a pitched battle the emperor used to sit on the elephant so that he could be visible. But more crucial aspect of the elephantry was that they were the best beasts of burden and were important for transporting heavy artillery crossing river shielding army. But the most important work of the elephantry was that they were the waste bits of burden and were important for transporting heavy artillery crossing rivers, shielding army. Now we see the cavalry troop of Mughal Empire. The cavalry is the most important important elements of the army. So Father Monstret calls the Mughal cavalry the flower of the army. Father Monstret saw the importance of cavalry and he see the cavalry the flower of the army. These were the personal troopers of the emperor. These were the personal troopers of the emperor instituted by Akbar. While Dakhil soldiers were recruited though on behalf of the emperor but were employed with the mansabdars. These were the personal troopers of the emperor instituted by Akbar, while Dakhil soldiers were recruited though on behalf of the emperor but were employed with the mansabdars. Dakhil were the employee of mansabdars. Dakhils were two types. Dakhils were of two types, bargirs and the silehdars. Bargirs and the silehdars. Dakhils were of two types, bargirs and the silehdars. So bargirs received armed dresses from the states. Bargirs who received arms dresses from the state, and the silehdar who used to bring their own horses and arms. And silehdars who used to bring their own horses and arms. There were also Kumarkis who were recruited for special duties. Kumarkis were recruited for special duties. However, the most numerous of the cavalry wing were the Tabinans. Tabinans furnished by the Mansabdars. Tabinans were the cavalry wing and Tabinans furnished by the Mansabdars. Mughal army posed largely Turki, Tajik and Persian forces. Mughal army posed largely Turki, Tajik and Persian horses. Now we see the artillery troop of Mughal Empire. As we know that the Babur used the heavy artillery in the battles of Panipat and Khanwa. We also know that Babur used the heavy artillery in the war of Panipat and Khanwa. Humayun is reported to have posted 21 heavy artillery and 700 guns. Humayun reported to have posted 21 heavy artillery and 700 guns. Sher Shah's artillery was considered to be even superior to Humayun. Sher Shah's artillery was superior to Humayun. Babur's artillery was commanded by famous Ottoman Turks Ustad Ali Kuli and Mustafa Khan. Humayun's master of cannons was Rumi Khan. Akbar counted on Portuguese Venetian Manucci was employed as gunner by Dara. Babur's artillery was commanded by famous Ottoman Turks Ustad Ali Kuli and Mustafa Khan. Humayun's master of cannons was Rumi Khan. Akbar counted on Portuguese. Venetian Manucci was employed as gunner by Dara. Now we see the admiralty troop under the Mughal. Mughals had a separate department under Mir Bakshi to look after the fleets and waterways. Waterways and fleets were looked after under the Mir Bakshi, and Mir Bakshi was a separate department under the Mughal Empire. The department was responsible for building boats, regulate sea and river ports, impose tolls and building bridges. The department was responsible for building boats, regulate sea and river ports, impose tolls and building bridges. However, the Mughals lacked proper navy. Mughals depended on Portuguese and Sindhis of Janjira, but they were incapable to face Portuguese, Dutch, and the English. In the Department of Navy, Mughals Empire were lacked, and they totally depend on the Portuguese, Dutch, and English. Portuguese and Sindhis, but they incapable to face Portuguese, Dutch, and the English. In the field of Navy, they incapable to face Portuguese, Dutch, and the English because the Mughals lacked proper navy. Now we see the important officials under the Mughal army. The commander-in-chief in true sense was the Mughal emperor. The commander-in-chief in true sense was the Mughal emperor. Mughal emperor was the commander-in-chief. Though the head of the military department was Bakshi Mamlik or Mir Bakshi. But the head of the military department was Bakshi Mamlik or Mir Bakshi. All orders of Mansab grants were issued by him. All orders of Mansab grants were issued by Mir Bakshi or Bakshi Mamlik. He supervised the branding as well as inspected soldiers. He supervised the branding as well as inspected soldiers. In the Mughal Darbar, he stood at the right side. Mir Bakshi in Mughal Darbar stood at the right side and presented all matters pertaining to his department, and even he accompanied the emperor in his private chamber. Mir Bakshi presented all matters pertaining to his department, and even Mir Bakshi accompanied the emperor in his private chamber. He was also in charge of the palace guards. Mir Bakshi was also in charge of the palace guards. Mir Bakshi also accompanied emperor or at times princes in the expeditions, or else could also be given and independent command of a specific conditions. So we see the importance of Mir Bakshi. There were three Bakshis in the Mughal Empire. There were the three Bakshis in the Mughal Empire. Their duties were more or less similar with the differences that Mir Bakshi used to deal with princes and high amirs. Their duties were more or less similar with the differences that Mir Bakshi used to deal with princes and high amirs. The second Bakshi dealt with mansabdars of lower rank. Second Bakshi dealt with mansabdars of lower rank, while the third Bakshi used to deal with increments and posting of Yumia Dara only. There was also separate Bakshi Ahadis. Bakshi Ahadis was a separate. Later, under Jahangir, a separate Bakshi Huzur was created. Bakshi Huzur was separate from the three Bakshis. Bakshi Huzur was launched by the Emperor Jahangir, and Bakshi Huzur was separate from three Bakshis. Now we see a very important feature of Mughal administration. Mansabdari system was a very unique character of Mughal administration. So now we understand and see the Mansab system under the Mughal ruler. Mansab system under the Mughal ruler in India did not develop suddenly. Mansab system under the Mughal ruler in India did not develop suddenly. It evolved steadily through the time, borrowed in some from Western Asia and modified to suit the needs of the time of India. Their institutions were borrowed in some from Western Asia and modified to suit the needs of the time of India. The Mansabdars were an integral part of the Mughal bureaucracy and formed. The Mansabdars were an integral part of the Mughal bureaucracy and formed. Percial Spear says that an elite within elite. Percial Spear says an elite within elite about the Mansabdari system. They were appointed in all government departments except the judiciary. Mansabdars were appointed in all government departments except the judiciary. They held the important offices of Wazir, Bakshi, Fauzdar, and the Subedar. Mansabdars were held the important offices of Wazir, Bakshi, Fauzdar, Subedar, etc. The word Mansab means a place or position, and therefore it means a rank in the Mansab system under the Mughals. The word Mansab means a place or position, and therefore it means a rank in the Mansab system under the Mughals. Mansabdari system is an unique system. Mansabdari system is an unique system that was devised in India by the Mughals. Mansabdari system was devised in India by the Mughals. The mansab or rank in this system was awarded to an individual fixed both his status in the official hierarchy as well as his salary. The mansab or rank in this system was awarded to an individual fixed both his status in the official hierarchy as well as his salary. It also fixed the number of armed retainers or that the mansabdar was responsible for the service of the state. Mansabdars were the responsible for the service of the. It also fixed the number of mansabdar. It also fixed the number of armed retainers or tabinan. What is the feature of mansabdari system? So now we see the feature of mansabdari system. The mansabdar could have been given a military post, an administrative post, or any other job in the court. The main feature of the mansabdari system is the mansabdar could have been given a military post, an administrative post, or any other job in the court. The mansabdari was a service that encompassed the administrative as well as military position, and the state could utilize the same person for both jobs. The mansabdar was a service that encompassed the administrative as well as the military position, and the state could utilize the same person for both jobs. The salary could be paid in cash or grant in the form of jagir. The salary could be paid in cash or grant in a form of jagir. Grant of the jagir gave the rights to collect all kind of due from the jagir for the state. Grant of the jagir gave the right to collect all kind of due from the jagir for the state. The mansab ranged from 10 to 5,000 during Akbar. The mansab ranged from 10 to 5,000 during Akbar. In the multiple of 10, there were 66 categories ranked from 10 to 100, and the 66 category was not exactly the number because the number of 66 was notional number. This feature was make mansabdari system a complicated. The rank increased during his successors. The rank increased during his successors. The term mansab was not used uniformly in popular mind. The term mansab was not used uniformly in proper mind. Rank holders up to 500 was called mansabdars. Rank holders up to 500 was called mansabdars. From 500 to 2,500 were called amirs. From 500 to 2,500 were called amirs. From 2,500 and above were called amir-e-umda or amir-e-azam. Amir-e-umda and amir-e-azam, 2,500 and above were called 2,500 500 and above were called Amir-e-Umda or Amir-e-Azam. Later, all those below 1000 were called Mansabdars. Later, all those below 1000 were called Mansabdars. This system in the course of time was extended to the hereditary indigenous regional leaders, that is, different chiefs and rajas. This system in the course of time was extended to the hereditary indigenous regional leaders, that is, different chiefs and rajas. The ranks from 5000 to 10,000 were reserved for royal princes. The ranks from 5000 to 10,000 were reserved for royal princes. During the last few years of Akbar's rule, Mirza Aziz Koka, was Akbar's milk brother, and Raja Man Singh, related to Akbar through matrimonial relation, was promoted to the rank of 7,000 Mansabdar, which was highest during the time of Akbar. 7,000 Mansabdars was the highest rank of the during the time of Akbar. Mirza Aziz Koka and Raja Man Singh was allotted the 7,000 Mansabdars. Till the time of Aurangzeb, 7,000 was the maximum mansab that the noble could aspire for. In the time of Aurangzeb, 7,000 was the maximum mansab that the noble could aspire for. A mansabdar of 400 Jat rank was expected from this. A mansabdar of 400 Jat rank was exempted from this. 400 Jat rank was exempted from this system. This is also interesting a note that the quality of the horses like Iraqi, Turki, Yabu or mixed and Jangla or Indian was clearly laid down. The quality of the horses like Iraqi, Turki, Yadu or mixed and Jangla or Indian was clearly laid down. The quality of the elephants also had to be mentioned. The quality of the elephant also had to be mentioned. Abul Fazl though mentions that the beasts of burden were also presented for dag or branding. Abul Fazl though mentions that beasts of burden were also presented for dag or burden. Now we see the evolution of the Mansabdari system. The concept of the Mansab surely goes back to Changez Khan, who divided the army into number grades from 10 to 10,000. The concept of the Mansab surely goes back to Changez Khan, who divided the army into number grades from 10 to 10,000. The Lodhis and Surs had nobles holding ranks of 20,000, 10,000 and 5,000 sawars. The Lodhis and Surs had nobles holding ranks of 20,000, 10,000 or 5,000 sawars. The actual number of horses mentioned by this number was not not known. The actual number of horses mentioned by this number was not known. The division of the services from 10 to 5,000 into regular designated hierarchy of grades was a unique contribution for which credit has to be given to none other than Akbar. The division of the services from 10 to 5,000 into regular designated hierarchy of the grades was a unique contribution for which credited has to be given to none other than Akbar. Generally, it is believed that the Mansabdari system came into being in the 11th year of Akbar's reign, that is the year of 1567. That is the year of 1567. So Mansabdari system was launched in the year of 1567 after the ruling of 11th year of Akbar's reign. So generally it is believed that the Mansabdari system came into being in the 11th year of Akbar's reign, that is the year of 1567. Abul Fazl, though designates a rank also for Bairam Khan, who died much before that. Abul Fazl, though designate a rank also for Bairam Khan, who died much before that. Interestingly, the other historians of the time does not designate any mansab rank to anyone before 1567, including Nizamuddin, who himself was a Bakshi. Other historians of the time does not designate any mansab rank before 1567, including Nizamuddin. Nizamuddin was a Bakshi. Nizamuddin, who himself was a Bakshi, he also did not mention that time in the mansab, about the mansab. It is difficult to ascertain the number of horses maintained by the noble as the Jama during the period was much inflated. It is difficult to ascertain the number of horses mentioned by the noble as the Jama. The actual number of horses mentioned was ensued by the Dag system. The actual number of horses mentioned was ensued by the Dag system. This was ensued in the 18th year in 1573-74. Dag system was launched in Mughal Empire was 1573-74. The Dag system implied that the described role of every soldier entertained by the Mansabdars was noted, and the number and quality of the horses were critically inspected. The Dag system implied that the descriptive role of every soldier entertained by the Mansabdars was noted, and the numbers of and quality of the horses were critically inspected. The confirmation of promotion also depended upon this maintenance of the system. The confirmation of promotion also depended upon this maintenance of the system. Badauni was a critic in the time of Akbar, and he was contemporary of Akbar. And Badauni was a great historian. So Badauni noted that the noble would start with a rank of 20. Badoni noted that the noble would start with a rank of 20 as himself started after he could produce those 20 horsemen, and after that could be promoted to the rank of 100 mansab. 100 mansab could be promoted to the rank of 100 mansab. He, if could raise muster up to the number and get it branded through the dark system, he could attain a mansab of 1,000 or 2,000 and even higher. If he could raise muster up to the number and get it branded through the dark system, he could attain a mansab of 1,000 or 2,000 and even higher. The nobility resisted dark system as long as they could. The nobility resisted dark system as long as they could. The dark system peculiarly interested enormous power in the hands of the junior officials, who sometimes used to harass even senior. Akbar personally intervened to pacify the nobles and bring the situation under control. Akbar personally intervened to pacify the nobles and bring the situation under control. In spite of the strict dark system or branding, it was reported that the nobles did not maintain the number of sawars or horsemen they were assigned to maintain. In spite of the strict dark system or branding, it was reported that the nobles did not maintain the number of sawars or horsemen they were assigned to maintain. There was a trend of borrowing of sawars, and after the inspection they would be dismissed. After the inspection they would be dismissed. The visit of the state, though very strict, could not encompass the whole empire, and it somehow fell inadequate. The visit of the state, though very strict, could not encompass the whole empire, and it somehow fell inadequate. Now we see the concept of Jat and Sawar ranks. Now we see the concept of Jats and Sawar ranks. The above reasons led to the introduction of Jat and Sawar system, or the dual rank system, in the 14th year in the 1595 to 96. 1595-96. Jat and Sawar system, or the dual rank system, in the 14th year in the 1595-96. According to this system, the mansabdars were divided into three categories. Mansabdars were divided into three categories according to this system. The first category included those who maintained equal number of sawars equal to their mansab. First categories included those who maintained equal number of sawars and equal number to their mansab. So 5,000 sawar and 5,000 jat and 5,000 sawar. The second category included those who maintain half or more than half. Included those who in second maintains second category, half or more than half the sawar, but less than equal to their mansab rank. Half or more than half the sawar, but less than equal to their mansab rank was second category. The third category included those who maintained less than half the sawar to their mansab rank. The third category included those who maintained less than half the sawar to their mansab rank. It was during this time that the term Jat came to be used personal rank. During this time, the term Jat came to be used personal ranks. The pre-1594-95 phase was different when there was only one rank. In the phase of 1594-95 was different when there was only one rank. Post 1594-95, in the dual rank system, one has to understand that the Jat was the personal rank of the noble and it indicated his pay and status. Post 1594-95, in the dual rank system, one has to understand that the Jat was the personal rank of the noble and it indicated his pay and status. The sawar rank was the number of horses the noble had to maintain or expected to maintain. The sawar rank was the number of horses the noble had to maintain to or expected to maintain. The Jat rank also indicated the number of horses, elephants, and beasts of burden and carts a mansabdar was expected to maintain. The Jat rank also indicated the number of horses, elephants, and beasts of burden and carts a mansabdar was expected to maintain. Now we see the salary of Jat and Sawar. The state regulated the number as well as the quality of the horses a Sawar was expected to maintain. The state regulated the number as well as the quality of the horses a Sawar was expected to maintain. The rule was that a 10 Sawar would maintain 20 horses. The rule was that 10 Sawars would maintain 20 horses. This was called the Dahe-Bisti system. This was called the Dahe-Bisti system. This was done to ensure the mobility of the Mughal army, which was always active. This was done to ensure the mobility of the Mughal army, which was always active. The salary was fixed as per the number of horses a Sawar would keep and also according to the quality of the horses that he maintained. The salary was fixed as per the number of horses a Sawar would keep and also according to the quality of the horses that he maintained. The salary of the mansabdars would be depend on which Jat category he belonged. The salary of the mansabdars would depend on which Jat category he belonged. The salary of the mansabdars were calculated in dam. The salary of the mansabdars were calculated in dam. 40 dams would make 1 rupees. 40 dams would make 1 rupees. Hence, the revenue assessment for the purposes of grant of Jagir was called Jama Dami. The revenue assessment for the purposes of grant of Jagir was called Jama Dami. The numbers of Mansabdar is difficult to ascertain because no records actually clarifies the number. The number of Mansabdars is difficult to ascertain because no records actually clarifies the number. Abul Fazl does not list the Mansabdars below 500. Abul Fazl does not list the Mansabdars below 500. An estimate during the time of Jahangir given by Dujarik list 2,941 Mansabdars from 10 to 5,000. In the period of Jahangir given by Dujarik list 2,941 Mansabdars from 10 to 5,000. 150 odd individuals held all the civil or military position in the empire. 150 odd individuals held all the civil or military position in the empire. This hand-picked bureaucracy was very efficient but slowly dependent upon the emperor, and the organization of this group was the key to the success of the smooth running of the empire. Now we see the conclusion. Delhi Sultan's post-standing army. Delhi Sultan's post-standing army, which was centrally recruited and centrally paid. The standing army was paid by centrally and centrally recruited also. Sultanate army was based on indirect command. Sultanate army was based on indirect command, and Mughal army was direct command. Mughal army organization was based on direct command. The key of the Mughal army organization was the Mughal Mansab system. Mughal Mansab system was the key of the Mughal army organization. This system was developed to create a centralized administrative system. Mansabdar system was developed to create a centralized administrative system as well as creating a large force.